Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining Fran and I. This is Friday with Fran. Fran has her normal voice. Just a few minutes ago when we logged on, her Bluetooth and webcam were being weird and she sounded like a chipmunk and it was really funny, but I couldn't understand anything she said. So she went back to her normal voice, but so there's a couple things, just, the business side of things is, if you're watching this for the first time and you want to see more of these, make sure that you like this on Facebook or you give it a thumbs up or you subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube. I am broadcasting this into my Facebook group this time. I haven't done that for a while because I was trying to figure some things out with the reach that the episodes were having. And so if you are watching from the group, if you have never given permission to StreamYard, which is the platform that I use to do these, to post your profile picture and name, you will have to do that if you want us to know who you are. Because otherwise, even if you tell us in the first comment who you are and then you make another comment, we can't be sure that it's still you making that comment unless you were to tell us every single time, hey, this is Michael, or hey, this is Mom, or those are the two that normally watch and comment. So,
or Alex,
or Alex, yeah, absolutely. And so there is something happening that started today that I am part of, and I am super excited to be part of it. Mom says hi again because I've spoken to her like 4 times today.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. So there's something happening today, tomorrow, and Sunday that I am part of that I really encourage any parent or educator. Well, and honestly, I think anyone would be able to benefit from catching some of these speakers that are talking. It's called the Executive Function Online Summit. Executive functioning skills are things like our time management, our memory, our organization, our procrastination, our ability to get started on things. And all of those are executive functioning skills. And a lot of our students in schools are behind in their development of those skills. We have skills that don't develop for everyone until we're 24. Our prefrontal cortex doesn't completely develop until we're like 24, 25 years old. And so that's why I say that this could be beneficial for anybody. If you're having some difficulty with your spouse or your child or yourself or a coworker, this is a great opportunity. And I'm going to pop it in the chat. It's free to watch live. And so that's the first link that will pop up in the message that I'm putting out. And then the second link is if you want an all access pass to have all of these videos later so that you can go back and watch the ones that you missed or go back and rewatch the ones that you caught. And then you get all kinds of bonuses, and I'm part of the bonuses. So I want you to get the bonuses so that you get my little spiel about behavior and going back to school and that sort of thing. But even if you don't buy the all access pass, this is still a wonderful opportunity for you. So enough of me. How are you doing, Fran?
Oh, I'm doing. I'm going through my days, and you know how that word that Alex always shares?
That B word.
Yeah. And it's not the B word that a lot of people are probably thinking. Balance.
Yes.
I'm seeking balance.
Mm-hmm. I think all of us need balance. And Alex has pointed out to us many, many times that in just about every situation, we need to have balance.
Yes.
So what are you off balance right now that you're trying to get balance?
I'm trying to balance everything. What's going on, the things in which I'm involved, the things which I desire to do, my medical needs, my family, what needs to be done in my house, just like I said, just a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Just a couple things.
Just a couple things. And have you ever seen, what comes to mind, we used to go to Branson a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And my kiddo's favorite thing was the Dixie Stampede.
Okay.
And they had the pre-show.
Hmm.
One of there was an act where there was these little poles poking up, and a dude would go along and try to get plates spinning along all of them,
Okay.
and then run back and forth and keep them going.
Yeah.
So not only so I'm not talking about how much you're piling on a plate, but I feel like more right now I have a lot of plates spinning. And in case you don't remember, I use a walker or a wheelchair, so I don't move that fast. So, but I don't want to drop anything, so I want to be wise in how many plates I allow to spin at a time, so
Yeah.
that I can give them the best I have instead of just hope that I can get to them before they fall.
That's a good idea. So, what are you leaving off of the poles, and what is your main focus?
Well, I know that my daughter is my like one of my biggest focuses right now, and we've started eating together at the table.
Oh,
I know that probably sounds some people are like, don't you always eat at the table? And some people are like, we've never eaten at a table. Yeah, well, there was a time in life that we always ate at the table. Then there came a time that I became a short order cook because not everybody wanted to eat the same thing. So it was never all getting cooked at the same time, to a matter of we had so many activities going on. So you just ate what you ate when you ate,
mhm.
to she became able to fix her own food. So I quit fixing her food.
Right.
So now we've been trying our best to sit together and eat, even if it's different food. And just really touch base. And it's really changed our relationship.
That's
And
wonderful.
I would like to say for the better. So I realized that I don't have forever anyway, but I don't have forever with her, for
Right.
sure. And so I'm going to make the most. We were kind of in the state in which we live gifted with the fact that she will be in school for all of the calendars
Hmm.
since she started it. So I'm going to make the most of this school year, is what I've decided, and just capitalize on how we can grow and strengthen our relationship. So that's the plate that I know I want to keep spinning no matter what. And I also I want to keep my plate with God. That's my foremost primary plate. And then my daughter and my son. Obviously, I haven't forgotten him just because he doesn't live at home.
Right.
But those are my plates that I know I want. But then there's so many other plates that I feel like they're stacked beside me, and the stack is so high that even the stack is unsteady, and they're not even spinning yet.
Oh,
So how do I choose from the stack what is most important, or what? So I'm really trying right now, for me to find that balance. I'm really just having to lean in to God and say, God, I just want to be in your will. I want you to order my steps and tell me which plate to pick up now.
yeah.
So that's how I'm seeking my balance. How about
And
you?
I
Or
don't
what were you
really
gonna
know.
say?
um, I I feel like I have balance sometimes, and then I
Hmm.
get off balance, and then it's a matter of, okay, well, what got me off balance, and how do I get the balance back? And I'm thinking more, as you were talking about the plate spinning, I was actually thinking of the scales and the balanced scales.
Hmm.
Um, and I think sometimes it's okay to be off balance on those scales, as long as you come back, because then maybe it'll be off, like you'll be off balance in a different way at a different
Hmm.
time, so then those off balances actually balance. If that makes any sense,
Right.
or if maybe I'm just trying to
To
tell myself
swing,
that to make it
to
okay.
swing back and forth. Are you saying? and eventually they balance each other out.
Yeah, they as they pass, oh, I was balanced for 3 seconds. Okay, now I'm.
I was gonna say, so how long do you want to be where they're this way? Or is it okay just to sit? Oh,
Yeah. Oh, I'm
look,
almost balanced. No, no, it's gone.
whoa. Okay.
I mean, I do feel like that is most of my days. It's like, oh, okay, it's the balance, and it's gone. Because
Hmm.
it's not just me, and what you said, it's not just you. There's I have a husband, I have a daughter, I have a dog, I have a job, I have other organizations and things that, I mean, my job is just not one job. I have it's one title, but I may have to do a whole lot of work for one client right now, but as soon as I get that done, then I maybe don't have consistent clients that need something from me every day or every week or every month. But I get off balance as far as like putting out my social media stuff or reaching out to my mailing list or making phone calls and finding people to be on hashtag no limits or promoting my book or, I mean, that
Hmm.
all falls under the education consultant umbrella title. But sometimes this gets more and that gets more. And then I go back um, and I don't always rest when I should. And then sometimes I feel like I rest too much because I think, well, I should be doing something else right now. Um, and
Or do you
so,
think it's your body trying to find balance and catch up to that time, the times where you didn't allow it rest? Do you
possibly,
ever think that, or
yeah. Oh, yeah,
because
I've
sometimes
thought
I
that.
wonder, when I go through those times.
Yeah. I mean, I used to think that's what summer was from teaching. I was like, okay, I can catch up now, and I think my husband is going to start experiencing that soon because he had his first full week of teaching this week.
Uh-huh.
So, and then he had something every night too on top of the teaching.
So
And
there was
so,
no down.
right. And not just because he's teaching that I think he's going to be really tired by this weekend, but because he hasn't gone, and many people have faced this in the last year and a half because of the pandemic. When you go to your office every day or you go to an outside job every day, your preparation for that is different than if you're working from home every day. And
Mhm.
so he hasn't had to get up and go outside the house every day consistently for all the calendars and then some.
Right.
So, getting used to that again, and then, figuring, and then he's never taught before. So figuring this, I mean, this is like if I was to go and I can't even, I've tried to think of this week, like, because I've gone and worked in the corporate world before and I've worked in retail. Um, but this is so vastly different than anything he's ever
So,
done.
so like, what if you went and maybe all of a sudden worked in healthcare? With that, have you ever done that?
I
Would
did.
that
I worked
throw?
as a yeah, I worked as a
Okay.
dietary aide, and I mean, I guess that's not exactly the same. I worked in a nursing home. Um, so yeah, I've never. I don't know. I've done so many different things that are kind of related. Like data entry or, like I said, working in the, and plus I have a lot of experience with medicine. So I mean, it's not like every term would be new to me, and not like every term is new to Kevin either. But I don't know. It could be. Yeah. I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm a
So
nurse or
it's
a
not just
CNA
so
or.
what you're saying it's not just a physical, it's a mental tired
Well, yeah,
that he's going to have to reboot and find a way to refresh.
right. Because to me, teaching is physical and mental. And I'm not saying that other jobs
Mhm.
aren't that way, but I think many jobs are, at least not what he's done in the corporate world. He hasn't had to have the
Mhm.
the pressure of being on all day long and of being patient with people that he can't yell at. He may have
Right.
been able to yell at some of his corporate people before, but if he can't yell at people like he
Mhm.
could have prior.
Yeah.
And there's just, and he has seen it with me. There's like the corporate world and the education world are truly two different worlds. And he has, yeah, mom, I guess if I went to be, yeah, like if I ever went to work with my dad and he was a phone guy, or yeah, if I went to work as an electrician, just all the different ins and outs. And for me, that would be stressful anyway, because I'm such a, um, I want to learn, and I want to be able to pick it up quickly. And if I can't, then I get frustrated with myself, and I don't always give myself that grace that we need to. But so yeah, so having the balance for him this weekend of just hands off, whatever you want to do, don't want to do, you know. Um, but I've got
Mhm.
multiple things I have to do this weekend, so just trying to remember to be sort of balanced. And then he and I have that balance, like he's had to do that for me in the past, and now it's my turn to do
Mhm.
that for him.
Right.
And our whole marriage has been like that, kind of like we've always really balanced each other well, because if
Mhm.
one of us is going through something, the other one is a great support, and then sometimes that switch, where the
Right.
opposite. So I think we've always been able to do that. And if one of us gets upset about a situation, the other one's usually calm. And then it's happened more times than I can count that the one who was calm gets upset about it, and the one who was upset becomes calm about it. So then we're just,
It's a balancing
it
act.
is, it is, it really is. And that's probably why we've been married more than 29 years, in our 30th year now. So because it takes that work, it takes the effort, it takes each of
And,
you.
and you're saying some really key phrases that were coming to mind. It takes work, effort, um, and it takes being a priority.
Yeah.
It can't be an afterthought. Trying to balance something that would so we'll go back to my spinning plates.
Hmm.
Trying to balance it if I already have all the plates spinning is going to be way harder than deciding how many plates I'm going to put up and then having a plan on how I'm going to go about spinning those plates.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. And then and I yeah, the work part of it, taking the time, even though you don't think you have the time because you have to keep all the plates up, of saying, okay, well, these 5 plates have to get my attention, have to have my attention right now. Because when I've seen those kind of acts, there are some plates that they just seem to just go. And the person barely has to do anything to those, but then there's another one where they're just constantly having to do stuff to it,
Hmm.
because it's either not balanced or it doesn't have whatever it needs to keep spinning. Like, so there are ones that you have to know, I think, which ones need attention and which ones can go without attention, and how much time they can go without that attention, or that immediate attention. They all need attention, but not immediate attention.
Yeah. And you know what I'm thinking about as you're sharing this? Um, those other words that we've brought in as well, grace but a new word I've been really thinking on which I've been thinking is perfection. How often does our perfectionism hurt that which we are trying to do? And because we're so focused on it has to be perfect that we can't even find balance in that individual thing in which we're doing. And then if you do that in everything, how can you balance perfectionism versus giving yourself grace and doing the best you can at that moment and then allowing that to be instead of revisiting it over and over?
Yeah. It's an excellent question for which I do not have an answer.
That is what on which I have been thinking very much recently, because I don't think there's a pat answer, but I think it's a way of on what is your focus, on what is your desire in life, on ultimately what is your goal, your direction.
Yeah,
Can you tell I've been thinking deep?
you have been. And I see, this is also why I feel unbalanced, is because as you were talking, I had a thought and I was like, oh, I want to say that. And now it's gone. And
Did you
I
cross
didn't
your
get to say
fingers
it. I did
or
not.
type it?
I did not. That's
Type
why.
it out in the
See,
comments so you
I did.
remember, and you don't even have to hit send. Just type it, and then you'll
I know.
remember.
But yeah, that perfectionism and the knowing where you're going, and the perfectionism, I think a lot of times we get stuck in thinking about all the mistakes that we could make, and therefore we don't get started.
Hmm, that's a good one. That's really good.
Thanks. That wasn't what I was going to say before, but that just came to me.
I, it and I think sometimes I just get started and I don't worry, and then it's trying to fix all the mistakes because I just started.
Yeah, well, but you know, that's one of the best ways that we learn, is doing it a way that doesn't work. I don't want to say wrong, because then it implies that you're not going
We
to learn from it.
right. We can go back to the example you use quite often about Edison.
Yeah. Yep. That's who I was thinking of when I said that, is, that, and for anybody who hasn't heard it, it took over 1,000 different materials before he found the one that made the light bulb stay lit and work. But every time he found one that didn't work, that was how he referred to it, as, well, that one doesn't work. I found another one that doesn't work. He didn't say I failed or I'm wrong. It was
Hmm.
his mindset approach. Okay, well, that one doesn't work, or this
Right.
isn't going to work this way. And that is something, it's weird, in the last 2 days, two completely different groups of women that I'm involved with, and they both had that as kind of the underlying message of our meetings, was your mindset and
Hmm.
how you approach things, and the mental health strengths, and the um, well, the one group was my prayer group, so of course we were talking about doing things as we understand God wants us to do them.
Hmm.
um, and just trying to find that grace for each other and for ourselves. um, and the other one was, it was specifically titled mental health for students,
Okay.
but some of the tips that she gave would certainly be able to work with any adult as well.
Hmm.
um, but it was interesting because a lot of the things that she said, and of course now I'm not going to remember any of them because my brain, I don't know, it's just in this weird space today. But um, I was thinking, well, Fran and I have talked about that. Well, Fran and I have talked about that. And I mean, Grace was, hey, Alex. Alex is here. She says she finally made it. Um, Grace was talked about. People aren't alone was talked about. Having support, giving your refilling yourself was talked about in both. Um, there were some other things too.
Hmm.
And, I think this person's been listening to Friday with Fran, and she's just using our material to give this speech, which is
Uh,
fine. That's good, But yeah, it was really interesting that it is a lot to do with our mindset. Like you
hmm.
said, at the beginning. There's a lot of people who are having stacks and stacks of plates, and they're leaning over because they're thinking that they have to do A through Z.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to prioritize those, being able to say, well, you know, like I mentioned before, this one doesn't need my attention right now. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I can give this plate to somebody else and
Uh,
completely take it off of my stack or off of the pole.
yep. And and that's what I was gonna say. I sometimes I look at my stack of plates and and so I'll pick up the top plate and I'll go, when I'm in a good place, I do this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me preface that. I'll look at it and go, is it necessary now? And or could I set it aside? Or is this something I could pass on to someone else?
Right. I'm
And
doing like you did. I'm saying hi in the comments. So
you would be proud of me though.
I'm always proud of you.
No, but I'm actually implementing something about which we have spoken many times.
What?
I'm taking me time
Yay!
multiple times.
Good.
Can I share?
Of
I'm
course.
super stoked. Um, at the end of this calendar, I get to go somewhere and meet up with some people that were missionaries in Europe when I was a mission, or not when I was a missionary, when I was a kid over there,
Yeah.
and um, they're traveling the states and they're hosting these little gatherings just so because not only was it for the youth, they also this organization also ministered to servicemen and women over there.
Oh,
So they're just
nice.
so there's one that's somewhere farish, but not too farish. So I'm gonna go to it, and my daughter's gonna
Nice.
go because she's gonna get to um, visit her sister.
Oh, fabulous.
So and she and I are gonna get some quality time together. So I'm doing something for me, I'm doing something for her, and I'm doing something for us.
That's awesome.
So I'm super
That's
excited
very
about that.
cool.
But that's not even that's just the start of it.
Okay.
Because in the past I would have just said, okay, well, I've done my thing for me, and okay, now I'm gonna dig back in and onward and upward. But no, I'm gonna go camping for a really long period of time. So we might come remote sometime
Okay.
with you. And that's not even it.
Okay. You are very
Then
excited and have
Then
exciting
yes,
news.
I am. And then then I'm gonna go on a mission trip.
What?
So I'm excited about that.
Where
And
can you
so
share
I
where
get to get
you're going?
away. It's the same one I did all the calendars ago. It's
Uh-huh.
the car repair ministry
Oh
where
yeah.
we repair cars for mission students, people training to become missionaries or
Cool.
retired missionaries. So I'm going to do that. And then oh yes, the final one that's scheduled at this point. See, I told you I did some things.
That's awesome.
Um, I get to meet up with some extended family that I haven't seen in ages,
That's cool.
and I'm doing that one with my sister.
Oh, very cool. Very
The
cool.
mission trip I'm doing with my daughter, and the camping I'm doing by myself. See,
Nice.
but during that camping, my son is going to come out and camp with me for part of the time.
Oh, no way.
Way.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, I'm with you, Mom.
Thanks,
I'm
Mom.
happy for her as well.
So I wanted you to see that through all of this thinking and stuff, I've realized that I, and I know it sounds like but in order for me to be able to continue to have a battery, I have come to realize that I am not all powerful and I am not a battery that no longer needs a charge, that it just is always charged, that I have to step back and allow others to do. And
Yep.
it's okay to allow someone to do it. And if they don't do it just how I would do it, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay if it comes out kind of wonky, because how are they going to learn if they don't get a chance to do it?
Right.
And it's okay because even the way I do it may not be right. And it probably comes out wonky a lot of times anyway when I'm doing it. So why should I put that same burden on them or put that burden on me that only I can get it done right? So I have been able just to take a lot of plates and just go whoop and push them this way or hand them off or say, well, that plate really isn't that plate didn't really wasn't mine to carry or to even try to spin. So I don't even believe it's a plate that's necessary to even pass on. So it just kind of goes into the recycle bin kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm learning how to balance, but I'm not saying I'm doing it well, but at least I really feel like I've made a step in the direction of what balancing means.
Well, from the teacher standpoint, what you just said at the end, that I'm learning how to do it. And so I'm probably not doing it well. Of course, you're not doing it well yet because you're learning how to do it.
But I expect, much like you,
I know.
to go from not knowing how at all to being an expert on it.
Right.
I don't like the process.
Yeah, me
The
either.
process, um, much like you know how gold goes through a purification process
Mhm.
and that refiner's fire. Yeah, I don't like the shaping and the burning off of the yuck stuff. I would rather it just kind of go to sleep and wake up the following day and go, oh yeah, it's all gone. I'm good. Here we
Yeah,
go.
I got it all figured out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, see, you remember how you taught me how to do video editing with that one software
Mhm.
and how I did it okay for like one time? Yeah, I
Mhm.
have to teach myself again because I haven't done it in a long time.
Uh huh.
And I have some videos that are longer than I need them to be. And so, yeah, I have to go back in and I have to go through that whole process of refining again because it's like, okay, I have to teach myself and I have to be patient with myself and I have to
Yes.
give myself grace because it's not something that I have a ton of experience with.
Mhm.
And so finding that balance, and that this kind of goes along with what I mentioned before of I keep thinking of, oh, this is going to be difficult and this is going to take a long time and I'm going to get frustrated by it. And so rather than dig in and do it, I find other things to do instead.
Uh-huh.
Like, well, this needs to be done. I should do this right now.
Well, I'm always available. Well, I'm not always available, but I'm sure we can work out a time where if you run into a roadblock, you could maybe reach out and I might could help you or might could send you in a direction that might help you.
I
Just
know.
saying.
I know. But I'm
I
I'm
know.
trying to give you that opportunity because I also know that if I asked you whether you really had time to help me or not, you would not say no. Because although you're
Well,
getting better,
you're learning. I'm getting better at it.
you are getting better. But I also need to just either, like write down the steps, which would be the smart thing to do. Um, but I like to, one of my best ways to learn is to actually just do it
Hmm.
a few times. But
Right.
I also have to remember that the older I get, the harder it is for me to remember all the steps, especially when I don't do something
Hmm.
regularly. So, I do need to write it down because it isn't something that I do. And it's not a system that Violet is used to. I've asked her to edit a couple of the videos because she was a podcast editor. That was something she did in an internship. But she says, Mom, editing a podcast is not the same as what you're asking me to do because all I had to do was edit the audio. But you're asking me to edit video as well. And I'm like, well, not, I mean, yeah, but not, because the way Fran taught me to edit these was I didn't really mess with the video. I just did the audio. But she's like, no, it's not the same because there is a video involved and I have to make sure that, it all lines up. But, what you used is not what she used to edit the audios for the podcast. So, and she's done a couple. She's struggled through and she's found some things, that so she's been helpful to us. And but yeah, I just have to get to it and do it.
So should I check in with you when we have a Friday with Fran and say, hey, how are those videos coming?
Probably.
Just asking.
Yeah, hold me accountable.
But in the same sense, it's not a beat you over the head. It's just a check-in.
Yeah. I know. But that actually, sometimes that's the motivation that I need. Because I know if someone is coming to my house and I know that they're coming, my house gets a nice, quick cleanup.
Yeah. Not just I think we all do that. Yeah.
But my brother and sister-in-law stopped by a few nights ago. Well, it's been longer than a few now, but and as we were sitting at the table, I'm like moving stuff away, because our table is where a lot of stuff lands, and then it doesn't always get put away right away, and unless I know someone is coming, then I clean. In fact, my mother-in-law has said several times when they have come for a visit how clean the house is. She's like, your house is always so clean. And I've teased her and I said, stop in when I don't know you're coming. And then you'll find a very different house that you'll see. But it's that motivation of that outside force, checking up on me, or even if I think somebody's going to check up on me because I've told them to, or they know that that's kind of why I didn't tell anybody I was doing my book until I was really far into it. Well, there were like immediate people who knew, but I didn't spread the word, until I was like, okay, it's in the final stages now. It's really going to happen. And then that's when I started telling people about it.
Can I say something?
Yep, absolutely.
Because my fingers are starting to lock up. But I don't want to end what you're saying. So if you're still,
I'm finished.
But I get it. But what I wanted to hold on, okay, my fingers are crossed. Ouch. So
Sorry.
what I wanted is, it's okay, because you were really on and it was true. But what I wanted to tie into what you were saying was the accountability. And I think what's really important is we sometimes think of accountability in a negative light. And you can use accountability in such a positive way. Like, if I'm trying I was trying to find a way to be a little more positive. So I had a friend checking on me, and they would just say, so what's your positive for the day? And there was no condemnation in it, but it helped me if I was in a really deep, dark hole to go, oh yeah, I'm working on that. And I didn't, because I knew this friend loved me unconditionally, well, as unconditionally as a human can,
right?
That they weren't judging me and gonna say, oh yeah, I know you were thinking all these negative things. You had no positive. Instead, they were in love, going, hey, I want to know. And they truly wanted to know what my positive. And even if the best I could come up with was, well, I didn't do anything stupid today, they were okay. No, seriously though, they were okay with that. Because so I think as we are trying in our lives to learn balance, having those around us to hold us accountable, those that will speak truth into our lives, but truth and love. Because there's a big difference. You don't want someone that is critical of every aspect of your life to be the one holding you accountable. You really don't.
Yep. No, you're right.
You want someone that's going to go, hey, I see you have a lot of plates spinning. Is there any plate you could take off for now? Is there any plate you could hand to somebody else? That's the kind of person you need holding you accountable.
Right.
And I don't know, I God has just blessed me with lots of people to hold me accountable, but 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 I say that in the neatest way. It because they speak truth, but they speak it with love. Sometimes though in the moment, it really stinks. Sometimes it hurts because I know they're right and I want to beat myself up, but I know that I have asked them to help me. And I also know that I want to grow. And the only way you can grow, as you were saying when I said I was learning and I wasn't doing it well, is to practice, is to get out there and do it.
Yep.
So, like you said a few times ago, remember? What did you say? Do it.
Scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things that was mentioned yesterday. Now that you brought that up, that reminded me was it's okay. The comment specifically for our kids was to let them be uncomfortable and to let
Hmm.
them, her example was if you're playing a board game with them, even if they're 6 or 7 years old, it's okay for them to lose. And then, help them work through what it feels like to lose at something and not get their way.
Hmm.
Because what she said then further was you if you never let them have that feeling of disappointment or feeling of rejection or um, having to struggle or being uncomfortable, then when they get that first rejection of their grade isn't what they thought it should have been, or a teacher doesn't value them as highly, or they go and apply for a job and they don't get the job, or they get the job and then they get let go from the job,
Hmm.
they don't have any resiliency skills to help get them
Right.
through that.
And as a parent, sometimes it is so hard to allow that process to happen because you don't want to see your child have to struggle through it.
Right.
You don't want to you want to fix it. You want to make it easy for that. You want to make it easy. You want to make it generally you want to do that for everybody in life. You want to
Right.
make it, but sometimes the learning process, the journey is in and of itself the ultimate prize.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. The ultimate prize. I like that. Because yeah, there's so much to learn along the journey, and we'll miss out if we don't have that journey.
Hmm.
Like again, it goes back to my hashtag no limits, my butterfly that's up in the corner, the
Hmm.
caterpillar turning into the butterfly. If the caterpillar didn't go through the process that it goes through, it would never become a butterfly. If it didn't go through being, I mean, I can't imagine dissolving yourself into the cells is comfortable and then
Hmm.
reforming. So sometimes we have to go through the uncomfortable in order to be able to fly.
Yeah. How did we get so heavy? Man, this one's deep. I didn't know we were going deep, deep. Gah.
We always
But that
do.
was good. That was good. That was really good. I'm gonna have to watch this one to write these things down so I can remember them. Uh, okay, so for anyone that's joining us that has never joined us or is watching this, we do not script these,
Yep.
and we really don't plan where we're going. So a
Nope.
lot of times it is a finger crossed, hoping you remember or you write it down. And um, but I just all I feeling through all this, I know that in balance there's hope in. And when you don't have balance, sometimes you need to reach out so that you're to others and say, "Hey, I am so out of balance. I need help finding my balance."
Yeah. And I mean, how many times have we said it? Nobody is alone that watches this show. you know,
Mhm.
nobody, even if they don't watch the show, but I mean, we say it to our audience that you're not alone.
Right.
Um, and the, the phrase, it takes a village, it really does. And
Mhm.
you and I have the hope in Jesus. And we have a book called the Bible that we believe to be true, and that
Mhm.
that is what guides us. I don't understand how people who don't have those can get through a lot of the things in life.
Right. Yeah. And I just I'm reading a cert in the scripture where it's a living hope. But I know that there are times when it seems so dark and dreary that I need someone to help me see hope.
Yeah. Hi, Mandy, and thank you for joining us.
Oh, hi, Mandy.
So, can I've had my fingers
Yes.
crossed. I
Good
remembered what
job.
I remembered what I was going to say
You
earlier.
mean the
Yeah,
way? Okay,
yeah,
got it.
where I was like, oh, I was going to say something. So we were talking about balance, which is the whole theme for today.
Mhm.
I have a struggle right now with the word expert because people look to me as the expert when it comes to special education right now. And
Mhm.
they look to me as the expert when, um, like with being able to talk with school districts and families and get everybody on the same page and understanding the special education law. And I'm having a hard time making sure that I'm not prideful. And I'm also, with the book, I feel a struggle because the book is not mine. Yes, my name is on the cover of the book. I actually
Mhm.
put the pen to paper, but they're not my stories. I mean, yeah, one of them
Mhm.
is, but the idea for the book didn't come from me. The
Okay.
title of the book didn't come from me. And so, when people say things to me of, wow, this must be, you're doing really awesome and I'm so proud of you and this is great and I'm proud of me too, but I feel like I'm on this fine line. Like I have to, for my business, for my clients, for, to continue to get business, be this, I'm the expert. I am
Mhm.
the one that you want to talk to about this stuff because I do know what I'm talking about,
Right.
but I'm scared I'm going to go too far and
And
become
I
prideful.
think because of what you're saying though, you have that check. I think um I think the spirit within you will check you. Did you see what your mom wrote, by the way?
Having God and having that after
No.
dad died.
Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
part. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I think but I hear what you're saying about that because it is. It's hard. How do you balance promoting yourself as your business as a person that can help a person, and maybe if you keep that as your focus, that you're promoting yourself to help others, then it will keep the pride at bay. I don't know. That's just my random, uneducated thought process thrown together quickly. How's that sound?
Well, for those of you who are watching, keep me humble. How about that? I mean, yes, I do, and I do know what I'm talking about, and I am very passionate about it, and I have learned from people who have learned from people. Lots of. Somebody just walked by the window behind you. That was
Yeah,
really weird.
I'm gonna mute this for just a second.
Okay. Um, and just I have a lot of outside the box thinking, and I am able to bring information to the table that maybe wasn't there before, or maybe wasn't known in the same way that I'm bringing it to the table. And the book and whatever, and so I mean I do have a lot of knowledge. I have a lot of experience. And I will, if you know me at all, I will give you 110%. When I am focused on a situation, I give 110%. Um, so I want to make that clear because somebody may, watch this and hear that I am not an expert. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I want to remain humble, but be able to do what I do at the same time. And I think that's hard for me because I know the Bible tells us that pride goes before the fall. So I definitely don't want that to happen.
Right.
But I think promoting me has been the hardest part of having my own business and writing the book. It's because I don't do well promoting myself. It's taken me a long time to even get to the point where I believe in myself enough to say, I can do this. I can help you. So,
And I think, I think as long as you walk through that process, and I've watched you walk it, and I think that I haven't seen pride come in. I can honestly say I've never seen pride come in.
I hope so. I mean, especially when I'm working with my clients and there's a situation going on with a client now in the school district, and I have to keep checking myself. You're doing this for the kid, right? You're not doing this, you're not pushing this because you didn't get your way or you didn't get what you thought the kid should have.
Right.
You're not trying to win at this point. You're still doing this for the kids. And that's always been, and none of my previous students' parents have commented, so I don't know if they're watching, but
It,
I hope and I think that was evident in all of my teaching, was that your child was the most important. It wasn't the school district. It wasn't me. It wasn't even you as parents. And it's the same right now. It's not, when I go into these IEP meetings with parents, I'm not going in to do what the parent wants or do what the school wants. I want to go in there for the student.
right.
So hopefully that comes across in what I do with families and what I do, even when I'm at the school districts. I mean, I'm not there.
Put that comment up right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, because I can see you not putting the comment up and just reading it or paraphrasing it.
Well,
Yeah. Okay. So there.
Well, she's a slight bit of a biased person, though.
Okay. But I'm not. You've
Yeah, you
always
are.
been about. No, I'm not.
Yes,
As
you are.
long as as long as I've known you, even when I first met you, your heart was always about the student,
Yeah.
the writer, the one needing help. How
Yeah.
can you make it better? How can you help them learn? Because you're an educator of life.
You are too, Mom.
Well,
She said
moms
I
tend
am
to be
not.
biased. Yes, moms tend to be biased.
Yeah.
But you are an educator of life. You always want to help someone grow and learn in whatever.
Well,
You push me to grow and learn. So that's just who you are. That's your heart. That's your mission.
and I do believe that is a gift that God has given me. That I am, and I even said this to Violet just a day or two ago, that I've always been for the underdog.
So then okay, so what you always need to think in the back of your head though is then so you're just walking out God's will in your life.
Okay.
Okay? And as someone I know always says about that, when I'm in his will, that's where my peace is. And so just walk it out because you're just walking out your service to him. And in doing that, if as long as you're doing that, you're never going to have pride.
Thank you. See, sometimes we're just here for each other. It's not about you
You
guys in
guys
the
are just
audience.
along for the ride. Because we don't get to talk except on Fridays with Fran, really, honestly.
Yeah, we rarely do outside of Fridays with Fran. It's very true.
But I just, so even as, so you guys got to be a part of this give and take. And, and that's what is so valuable in having A or B people in your life that can speak truth into it. And sometimes it's a little scary. You got to step out to find those people. You got to be willing to be hurt. Because sometimes it's not going to work out, or sometimes them speaking in truth really, really, really hurts. But you got to know their heart. And is their heart wanting the best for you? Or is their heart, like you were asking, is your heart asking, or is there an ulterior motive? But yeah, it's true.
Yeah, she and
Parents
I, that
or
was one of
family.
our conversations out of the four, however many, five, D or E that we've had already today. Um, yeah, it is. It's different when you hear it from somebody else. It could be said exactly with the same words, but because it comes out of somebody else's head, it is heard.
Well, can I tell you something that um I was my daughter's Girl Scout co-leader forever. But there were times I knew no matter what I said was not going to go. So I'd have to turn to the leader and say, "She's yours." Because there was nothing I could do, but I knew that if she said the exact same thing I wanted, it would come out fine.
Yep.
And vice versa, because we had both of our daughters in the troop.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. I would say things to Violet as she was going through school, and she wouldn't hear what I would have to say, and then a teacher would say it exactly the same, and I'm like, really? Not
Did
only
you
am I
really?
mom, but I'm a teacher, and you still didn't hear what I had to say, but because
Mm-hmm.
whatever teacher at the time said it, then it resonated. But yeah, it's
Right.
just because as parents, we don't know what we're doing. We don't have any clue about life.
Oh, so,
We have to wrap up.
oh, okay. Am I rapping or are you rapping?
You always do a better job at rapping than I do.
Not really. Wrapping paper looks really scary. But this is what I'm going to wrap with. Are you ready?
Okay.
It's not about how many plates you can get spinning. And it's not about how many plates you can juggle or how many plates you have in your stack. It's about how well you choose to spin the plates. And it's about knowing which plate to pick up and spin.
Perfect. That was awesome. Okay.
Ah,
And on that note,
on that note,
what's coming up next? Well, we don't know what we're going to talk about next week. And we also apparently may have some remote locations and may have different schedules after Fran shared all the wonderful things that she has coming up on her calendar. So we will definitely keep you informed if we have a different time or if we're not going to be on a certain day. And this coming Tuesday, hashtag no limits, is with Victoria Jenkins. She is from the UK and she has a clothing line. So I'm very excited to talk with her and share what is going on with her clothing line and how she's helping people bust through those limits that society has placed upon her. So remember, let me use my fun little toy. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe, do all the fun things. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us, Fran. Have a great weekend.
thanks. You too.